In every yes, there's some truth.
Yeah, right. All right, Senator Elizabeth Warren has been taking heat on her proposed $52 trillion Medicare plan for all that targets the wealthy. That cost is over 10 years. Some people have put that number lower at $23 trillion, some within her camp. Joining us right now to weigh in on Warren's plan and potential fixes to the U.S. healthcare system is Senator John Barrasso of Wyoming. Senator Barrasso also spent almost 25 years as an orthopedic surgeon and is the third-ranking Republican in the Senate. And John, thank you for being here today. It's good to see you.
Thank you, Becky.
What do you think of the Medicare for All plan?
Well, it's interesting. Even the Democrats are pushing the panic button over this one. It takes health insurance away from 180 million Americans who get it through work. It's a complete government takeover of health care. And under this plan, people will pay more and they will get less and they will wait longer for it. So that is the real problem with this. She's made a lot of promises. I think it's fantasy land. And additionally, I think in many ways it's dishonest in the way that the math is applied. But from a doctor taking a look at this, I think this is not going to work for patients or for providers.
Let's go through the math first, because that's been the area that's probably received the most heat. Which of the assumptions do you disagree with? Which do you think are off base or unachievable?
Well, in terms of what it costs, both the liberals and conservatives who've looked at this put numbers at about $10 trillion higher than the numbers that she's come up with in terms of taxes and how to pay for it. So to me, fundamentally, that is a big problem. She's undercutting what the costs are going to be. But the costs are still greater than what we're paying today for Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. So there's not enough money in the country to do what she's doing.
I think they're assuming 110% is what a lot of hospitals would get paid, 110% of what they're getting paid for by Medicare right now. Proponents of this, or those who are at least mildly supportive of it, say that, look, it's the same amount of money that's being spent in the private sector right now. You'd take all that money and funnel it into that and Medicare, what the states are paying right now, what employers are now paying for them. If you took all of that money and paid it out, they say it's the same amount of money that's being spent elsewhere. What do you say to that?
Well, they also say, plus you have to deal with the illegal immigrants and make them legal, do amnesty for illegal immigrants so that they will pay taxes. Oh, and they say, let's unleash the IRS to crack down on all Americans so we can garnish wages and seize property, all in an effort to help pay for this. The other thing, Becky, that's interesting is these taxes that they're proposing are on top of the taxes that Elizabeth Warren has already proposed to pay for the other things she's promised in terms of free college, in terms of forgiving college debt, in terms of child care. So these taxes are on top of those. This is unrealistic.
The wealth tax would go, I think, from 3% to 6% based on some of these things. But John, let's talk through some of the issues, because the reason this is getting so much attention, and you're right, not even all the Democrats, including Joe Biden, are signing on with this plan. But the reason it's getting so much attention is because healthcare costs are outstripping inflation again. It's such a massive part of our spend, and here we are years later, still not able to get our arms around it. That plan makes some assumptions, things like prescription pharmacy cost or prescription medicine costs. I think they plan to bring down by 70%. They plan to pay doctors less under this plan, and they plan to pay hospitals less than they're making right now between Medicare and the private insurance companies. What does that mean from somebody who's actually been a medical professional practicing in that arena?
Yes, and in Wyoming with our rural hospitals and rural hospitals across America, so many of them wouldn't be able to keep the doors open. People wouldn't be able to go to their local community hospital for care. And if that local community hospital closes, Becky, you know, that makes it harder in that community to recruit businesses, to recruit teachers, to recruit nurses, to recruit people to grow the community. It's a death knell for many communities if a hospital closes. You know, they tried this in Vermont, and Vermont canceled it because they just couldn't afford it. They had it on the ballot in Colorado, and that's a state that is leaning blue. That is a state that defeated it 80-20. So in terms of what works at home, it's very different than what Elizabeth Warren is trying to put on paper.
However, there is a huge amount. I think a lot of polls that I've seen actually put health care as the #1 issue that people are concerned about. What do the Republicans plan to offer up instead?
Well, first, if you like your health insurance that you get through work, you can keep it.
Well, that's what President Obama told us before Obamacare.
And what we know is that 5 million people lost it. I'm saying that Elizabeth Warren wants to take your health insurance away, wants to take it away from 180 million people who get it through work. If you have a pre-existing condition, Republicans will protect your health insurance. We want to eliminate the surprise medical billings. We want to lower the cost of prescription drugs, and we have legislation to do that. We've eliminated the gag rule on pharmacies. We think there should be more transparency so people, where they can shop around for health care in terms of they have the time and there are price differences, which is about 30% of health care spending, people should know those costs so they can make the decisions about that. But what Elizabeth Warren is proposing is going to limit people's ability to get the care that they need from a doctor they choose. I want to help people get that at lower costs.
Senator, I think people like you and I who have health care insurance that we do like and that we do appreciate feel threatened by things like this. However, there are a lot of people who don't have health care insurance, who have seen prices go up, who are very discontented and very concerned about what's going to happen to them. Are you offering them something more than the status quo?
Well, you're offering an opportunity for health care costs to actually go down. As you pointed out, health care costs are going up faster than inflation. Some of that is technology. Some of that are arrangements that are out there, financial arrangements. I want to lower the actual cost of care for people through transparency, through giving people more information, more competition in the healthcare marketplace, so people can make decisions that are best for them.
Senator Barrasso, thank you. We appreciate your advice, not only as a senator, but also as a doctor, and we hope to see you soon to talk more about this.
Well, I would just say do not be deceived by what Elizabeth Warren is offered under that plan. People will pay much more, and they will have to wait longer for worse care.
Thank you, Senator.
Thanks.
All right, when we come back.